What's up, LEGO fans? Welcome back. Alex here. In this video, we will be building and reviewing the new Porsche 911. This is set 10295, contains 1,458 pieces, and retails for $150 US. Now, this is available to VIPs at the moment as early access. It is available worldwide come March 1st to everybody. Now, similar to the Ford Mustang that we got earlier last year, there are two versions of the 911. We have the Targa and we have the Turbo. Now, I've made up my mind that I want this displayed as the Turbo version, so what I'll do first on the build is build the Targa, do a quick review of that, and see what is required to convert this into the Turbo. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and do a time-lapse build of this, and then we'll do our review and placement. So let's go ahead and get started. We're at a stopping point with our build because the instruction booklet is requiring us to make a decision on which model we want to build. If it's the Turbo, we just turn the page. If it's the Targa, we go to page 230. Now, looking at the pieces we have left, we have bag 8, 9, and 10. That seems like a lot of pieces, and depending on the model you're going to make, you're going to have a lot of pieces left over. And I'm not really a huge fan of that because, well, leftover pieces that are required for an alternate model might get lost pretty easy. So here it is. The first 7 sections get you this, which looks fantastic, a very nice looking base to go off of with your Porsche 911. Now we have 8 and 9 for the Turbo and 8 and 10 for the Targa. So it looks like bag 8 can be used to kind of as a combination in both models, but it's either or on these, and there are a lot of pieces in each one of those. So we'll go ahead and continue with our plan to build the Targa first. We're going to see what that looks like and then see how much effort is required to unbuild it and convert it into the Turbo. Let's get back to our build. All right, the build is complete for the Targa, and I gotta say, it looks fantastic. Other than its looks, my favorite thing about this thing is that there are no stickers. That's right, all printed elements. There's not a lot of printed elements, but they could have easily thrown in a sticker sheet, but they did not. So I really appreciate that. Even that Porsche emblem on the hood is a printed element. And overall look at this thing is great, and I'm actually tempted to leave it as is because, well, I like the convertible look. It's pretty darn cool looking. But we've committed to the turbo, so we'll do that. But before we do, I just want to admire the features of this vehicle in its current state. Really great features. It's very smooth operating as far as the doors opening, the rear, the hood, and all that good stuff. The wheels turn very well. There's no scrape on it either, and the interior of this thing looks fantastic. The color choice, I was a little uneasy about the light brown, almost tan color in there, but you know what? It works. It works pretty well. So good job on that. Now, Josh came in here and he saw that I built the Targa, and he asked if he could do the turbo version. I said absolutely. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go off of memory and remove all of the components and pieces that completed the Targa so that Josh has a clean slate to start the turbo build. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I've taken all the parts out that I put in on that last section, and these are all the components that were in there, except for these plates, of course. So decent size amount of pieces there, and I'm going to turn this over to Josh to turn it into the turbo. The Porsche 911 Turbo version is complete. Josh had a good time putting this together. It definitely took him a little bit longer to get it into the Turbo version than it took me to get it into the Targa version. But regardless, I'm really happy with our decision to end the result as the Turbo version of the Porsche 911. I love the look. Three main differences over the Targa, and that, of course, is going to be the hard top roof of the Turbo. Also, that wider, more aggressive stance of those rear tires, and that massive black trim spoiler in the rear. So those are going to be the external features. Everything else is pretty much the same. On the inside, though, underneath that massive spoiler, we have a very aggressive looking turbocharged engine in this thing. I think they did a fantastic job of adding a lot of fun little details and components in the back of the vehicle. Everything else, though, pretty much the same on the inside. And if you elect to go with the turbo version, as you see here, you will have all of these pieces left over that help you convert it into the Targa version of the Porsche 911, including these silver rims, other than the black colored rims that you have on the turbo version. So we're definitely going to have to put these in a sealed plastic bag and label it to make sure we don't lose track of any of those pieces should we ever want to convert this back into the Targa. And of course, I always like to look at the instructions on this. You get one big book, pretty thick, and it gives you, of course, the option of building both the Targa and the Turbo. You open this thing up, and of course, it does have great information about this vehicle, its history and development, as well as the designer's approach to making this as well. And of course, we've reviewed this already as far as what version takes what bags in your build. So there is the instruction booklet. Turn on the back here to see what we have on the back. And just inside the cover is pretty standard. You're going to have a inventory of all the pieces that are included in your Porsche 911. I ran downstairs and picked up a couple other vehicles that I could compare the Porsche to. Not just scale, but price range as well. On the right, we have the Aston Martin DB5, popular from the James Bond films, full of fun goodies in there, and that retailed for $150 US. On the other side, we have the 1967 Ford Mustang, which I gotta say is a very good looking vehicle, also retailing for $150 US. Now, I thought that the Porsche would be small in comparison to these vehicles, but it is not. I lined these things up on the rear ends as evenly as I could. I hope I got it right there. But as you can see, the front end here, the Porsche does beat out the Aston by 2 or 3 studs in length. On the other side, the Mustang has it by a little bit with that upper lip there on the Porsche. But what I love about the Porsche is that very wide, aggressive rear stance there. I love how that looks. So on the overhead here, you can definitely see that that Porsche is the widest of these vehicles, especially over the Aston Martin, which is a very skinny looking car, but again, is full of those fun little goodies that we know and love from the James Bond films. So there you go, those 3 vehicles as a comparison, all $150 US each, and actually all of them are still available from the Lego Group as of the making of this video. And just for fun, I brought up a few other toys. These are other Porsche 911s that I have in my collection, just for a comparison on how they are in size as well as price. On the left here, we have the 1/8 scale Technic version of the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. When this was available from Lego, it retailed for $300 US. On the other side, we have the Technic RSR, 911 RSR, true racing car. Lots of stickers with this model, but this is also $150 US, so it is the same price as our new Porsche 911 here. So interesting comparison there as far as what you get for your money. And then again, just for fun, I have the Speed Champions Porsche 911 down here just for fun, showing that there is a Porsche Lego set for almost any budget out there. That's going to wrap it up for this build and review of the new Porsche 911 Targa/Turbo. Let me know what you guys think of this model, and if you have it, which model you prefer to have it displayed in, the Targa or the Turbo. It's $150. It is a pretty penny, of course, but if that's a little bit more expensive, well, they have other builds for you to buy that fit the budget, like this little guy here. Zippy, I like it. Anyway, that is it for now. I will be doing a build on a display for this thing, an angled display for the office downstairs. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up here very soon in a separate video. Until then, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.